Well, today we're diving into a pretty intense day, even for Jesus, as it's told in the Urantia book.
Definitely a Tuesday to remember.
For sure. We're talking personal goodbyes, public confrontations, and some really profound teachings. And get this, all before lunch.
Yeah, this Tuesday, it's like a fast forward through some of the most challenging and insightful parts of his ministry.
It really is. So to set the scene, we're starting this Tuesday morning with Jesus giving these really personal farewells to his apostles. It's almost as if he knew what was coming, like he wanted to prepare them.
It's definitely more than just a see you later kind of thing. The thing that really gets me is the specific advice he gives to each apostle.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, it's like he had this deep understanding, right, of their personalities, their strengths, their weaknesses, and like the unique challenges that each one individually would face.
So not a one-size-fits-all pep talk then?
Yeah.
Tailored guidance, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like, take Andrew.
Okay.
Jesus tells him, and I'm quoting here, "Be not dismayed by the events just ahead. Keep a firm hold on your brethren and see that they do not find you downcast."
Wow.
It's like he knew Andrew might be prone to losing hope, and that he'd need that extra push to be strong for the others.
Andrew, you're going to need to be the rock for everyone else, basically.
Exactly. And then you've got Peter.
Oh, Peter. This should be good.
Hey. Knowing Peter, right, the advice to him is, well, it's striking, to say the least. "Put not your trust in the arm of flesh, nor in weapons of steel," Jesus says. "Establish yourself on the spiritual foundations of the eternal rocks."
It's almost prophetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you can't help but think about what's to come.
It really does feel that way. It's as if, and maybe this is reading into it too much, but almost like Jesus was preparing Peter, not just for the denial that was about to happen, but for, the leadership role he'd eventually take on.
That's a great point.
But this Tuesday morning, it wasn't just emotional goodbyes and foreshadowing. This debate pops up between Peter and James about forgiveness, of all things.
Ooh, forgiveness. Now, that's a topic that, well, let's be honest, we're still trying to figure out today. What were they debating? Do we know?
So, Peter, always the practical one, he was adamant that repentance and confession had to happen before forgiveness could even be on the table.
Okay, so like earn your forgiveness, Peter says.
Right. But James, he seemed to feel that God's forgiveness was already there, offered freely.
Really? Even before we ask?
That seemed to be his stance.
Wow. So they're grappling with a question that, theologians have been debating this for centuries. Do we have to earn forgiveness, or is it just given to us? Amazing to see that playing out even among Jesus' closest friends. So what does Jesus say to all this?
This is where it gets really good. He uses this analogy, and it's so simple but so powerful to illustrate this whole divine forgiveness thing.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the analogy?
Parents and children.
Oh, I like where this is going. Tell me more.
So Jesus explains that a good parent, a loving parent, they get their kids' shortcomings right, even before the kid might even realize it themselves. And get this, a parent's love, real love, it's not conditional. It's not based on perfect behavior.
Meaning?
They don't just love their kids when they're acting right and then pull back that love when they mess up. No, their love, it's constant. It's there no matter what.
I get it. That's beautiful, actually.
Right.
So he's saying that God, like a parent, like a really, really good parent, understands our flaws, our mess-ups, and still loves us unconditionally.
Okay.
And it's not about our mistakes making God love us any less.
You got it. That's the beauty of this whole parent-child analogy. It makes this idea of God's understanding, God's forgiveness, it makes it feel real, something we can actually grasp. Because let's face it, we all want that unconditional love and acceptance,
100%. To be seen and loved, flaws and all. And that forgiveness, it's not something we have to earn by being good enough. It's there because of love.
Exactly. It's powerful stuff.
It really is.
And it's interesting you bring up that whole, deep down desire for that unconditional love, because now we're going to see Jesus walk into a situation that's, well, anything but loving and accepting.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get real.
To say the least.
We go from this intimate setting, saying goodbye to his closest friends, to a full-blown public showdown. We're talking bustling temple courts, crowds everywhere, and it seems like everyone's just waiting for Jesus to trip up.
And remember, this isn't just some casual debate. These religious leaders, they're not messing around. They want to take Jesus down publicly, undermine everything he's about, and they're doing it during one of the busiest, most chaotic weeks of the year in Jerusalem.
Talk about pressure. Stakes are sky high. Okay, so who are the players in this takedown attempt?
First up, you've got a group of Pharisees and Herodians.
Okay, Pharisees and Herodians. Got it. And their weapon of choice.
Taxes.
Taxes, huh? I bet that went down well.
Not a simple question, let me tell you, especially in this political climate.
Right, right. So what do they hit him with?
Straight up, they ask him, is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not?
Okay, and I'm guessing the trickiness of this question is about to become very clear.
Oh, yeah. On the surface, it sounds like a simple yes or no, right? But like everything with this crew, it's a trap.
Lay it on me. How's it a trap?
Think about it. If Jesus is like, yeah, sure, pay your taxes, he's going to alienate pretty much every Jewish person there. They hate Roman rule, remember?
Makes sense.
But if he's like, nope, don't give Rome a dime, he's committing treason, like full-on, punishable by death treason against the Roman Empire.
Talk about a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
So they're basically trying to make him choose, right? Like, are you with us or against us?
Exactly. Loyalty to God or loyalty to Rome, pick a side.
Yeah.
So how do you get out of that one?
I don't know. How do you get out of that one?
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Well, Jesus, being Jesus, pulls off this masterful response. First, he asks to see a Roman denarius, the coin they use to pay the tax.
Bold move.
And he's like, whose image is on this? And of course, they're like, Caesar's. So Jesus, with that classic Jesus wisdom, says, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God.
He did not just do that.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Right.
Okay, breakdown time. He's acknowledging Rome's authority.
Right.
But he's not saying you have to compromise your faith or your values to do it.
Nailed it. He's basically drawing this distinction, right? Like, yeah, you can respect the laws of the land, but that doesn't mean you have to compromise your beliefs.
Okay, so this feels relevant today. It's like, how do we navigate all these different demands, right? Work, family, faith, you name it. It's easy to feel torn.
Totally. And this story, it reminds us we don't always have to choose. There's a way to honor our commitments, without compromising our values.
I like it. So are the Pharisees and Herodians like, okay, you win this round?
You wish. This is just the beginning. They try another tactic, this time bringing in the Sadducees.
Ah, the Sadducees. They're a whole other ballgame. Weren't they the ones known for being, well, let's just say a little skeptical?
Yeah, skeptical is one way to put it. They were famous for it, actually.
So how do they try to trip Jesus up?
They hit him with this really elaborate story, right?
Okay.
About a woman who ends up outliving all 7 of her husbands.
7 husbands, wow.
And they're all like, so in the resurrection, whose wife is she going to be?
Okay, I see where this is going. It's not really about the woman or the husbands, is it? It's about the resurrection itself.
Bingo. The Sadducees, they didn't believe in the afterlife, which is interesting, right?
Huge point of contention back then, for sure.
It shows how diverse Jewish beliefs were even back then,
Right, right.
But anyway, so the Sadducees, they're basically saying this whole resurrection idea, it's ridiculous. It would be chaos. Think of the logistics.
Whose toothbrush does she use? The afterlife gets complicated.
Exactly. They're using logic, and what they see as common sense to discredit something that's totally spiritual. So how do you answer that?
I'm waiting for it. How does Jesus answer that?
He doesn't just answer it, he dismantles their whole argument.
Ooh, tell me more.
First, he points out that they're missing the point of the scriptures.
Classic Sadducees, always getting caught up in the literal meaning.
And then he goes on to explain that those who are resurrected, like the angels in heaven, he says. Meaning, it's something we can't even really wrap our heads around. It's beyond our human understanding of life and death.
So he's not just confirming there's an afterlife. He's giving us a sneak peek into what it could be like. And I'm guessing shutting down the Sadducees' logic in the process.
Oh, totally. And notice how he uses their own scriptures against them, especially Moses. That was their guy, right?
Right.
So Jesus, he's speaking their language, meeting them on their turf, and then uses their own beliefs to, well, prove them wrong. Brilliant, really.
It's like he's saying, you're trying to use the scriptures to limit God, but God's bigger than your interpretation. Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. Jesus. 1. Religious leaders. 0. But I'm guessing this Tuesday's not over yet. Okay, so the Sadducees are speechless. The crowd, I'm guessing, is a little stunned. So what happens next in this theological gauntlet?
Well, the Pharisees, they're not done yet. They decide to switch tactics and send in a lawyer, an expert in religious law, to go toe-to-toe with Jesus.
Oh, a ringer. Okay, lay it on me. What's the big question they use to challenge Jesus' authority?
He asks Jesus to name the greatest commandment.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking classic theological debate here.
Yeah.
That question probably sparked arguments for I don't even know how long. It's a good strategy, though, you have to admit. I mean, how do you even pick just one greatest.
Right. And it's a question that still gets us talking today. What is the most important thing? What matters most in life?
Big questions. So how does Jesus answer that?
You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
He says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind."
Okay, so far so good.
This is the great and first commandment, he says.
I'm with him.
And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Love. Of course, it all comes back to love, doesn't it? Not rituals, not laws, but love. Love for God, love for others, even love for yourself.
Exactly. And that's a constant theme with Jesus, right? That connection between loving God and loving the people around you.
Totally. It's like seeing that divine spark in everyone you meet.
Exactly.
It's easy to get lost in all the debates and the drama, but at its core, Jesus' message is really about love and acceptance, which is something that goes way beyond time and place.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this day, this Tuesday, so powerful. We see this shift happening right in front of us. The text even mentions a group of Greeks coming up to Philip, wanting to talk to Jesus.
Greeks, as in not Jewish. Now, that's interesting.
It is. It's a turning point. This is where the message of Jesus starts to spread beyond just Judaism. It's starting to reach everyone.
Wow. Like a ripple effect.
Right. And Jesus, speaking to these Greeks with his Jewish followers right there beside them, he acknowledges that this shift is happening. He even hints that some will accept what he's saying and some will reject it. It's almost like he's looking ahead, to the future.
He's speaking not just to the people standing right there with him, but to all of us, even now, right? Acknowledging that some people just aren't ready to hear it, but the message is still there, waiting.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. What would you say, looking back at this Tuesday, is the key takeaway?
For me, it's the power of love, of forgiveness, and this unwavering faith that Jesus shows even when things get tough, really tough.
It's a good reminder. It's like no matter what's going on in our lives, right now, there's something bigger out there, different way of looking at things that's rooted in compassion and love. And sometimes you just have to trust that. Well, there you have it, folks. One Tuesday in the life of Jesus might have been thousands of years ago, but the message, it still resonates. Until next time, keep seeking, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.